Yo, fanboy, it's not your fault, teching. yo, fan base, and welcome to the Rant Cafe.
To a great start.
Yeah, great start. Only a half an hour late. So
doesn't matter whose fault it was. It's not important.
It's no one's fault. It's fate at work. So with us today we have All Day Anime.
Yo.
We have Too Spooky.
How's it
Been
going,
a while.
guys? It has been a while. Glad
We
to
have
be back.
Teching. Hi, Teching. Teching.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
There we go.
Bye.
Yeah. And for the first time, Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Hello, friends.
Alrighty. So, basically, this week we'll be discussing the greatest power system in anime. It is my tweet that I've linked in the description, and it will be the thumbnail when the stream is over. Are we good?
We're good.
Awesome.
Yep.
So the first round is Hunter x Hunter's power system, Nen coming out with the big guns, versus World Trigger, an anime that no one's seen that everyone should see.
Okay, I haven't watched
That's
any
fair and
World
balanced.
Trigger, but it cannot be better than the Nen system. Sure.
I agree.
Not fair.
There's no way.
Like the Nen system takes like 3 episodes to just fucking explain, and you're like, why are they explaining it so much? And then 4 fights later, you're
That's
like,
because
because
Togashi
this is
loves
the
it.
best.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. There's one thing about the Nen system that bugs me. Like, let's just get it out there. Every time Hisoka uses bungee gum, everyone's like, what? How does it do that? And it's like, oh, you see, its consistency is made up of both rubber and gum. And then everyone's like, no,
he says it every time.
every single
he had
time.
to say
It's
it.
an important detail.
I understand, but at the same time, it's like compare that power to like Phaeton making a miniature sun.
Nux, you've read or watched World Trigger?
Watched World Trigger.
Do you want to give us a little pitch on like its battle system? Like, is it cool or what?
Well, it's here because it's cool. Is it as cool as Hunter x Hunter? Frankly, no. But I will try. Basically, the world that they live in is a normal world, and all of a sudden dimensions are opening, and neighbors, they call them, from other dimensions are invading. And they build, and the power system is basically called Trion. It's like a life force kind of thing that everyone has. It's not exactly like chakra because it's technological also. Like they develop different types of weapons for different people, and they fight with these weapons. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it just sounds stupid.
It sounds kind of Star Trek-y, kind of, and that's
It's
not a
not.
bad thing.
Are the weapons guns? Are they swords? Like
There are guns, there are swords. There are
There
a
you
ton
go,
of
you're
different
set.
type of guns and different sniper rifles and different strategies used. And that's basically it.
It does sound kind of cool.
But it's not
It was against, a couple of other things here, maybe, but the Hunter x Hunters is so strong, Like there's so much you can do with that. And like what I love about Hunter x Hunters is it's like it kind of kills the idea of like base power levels. Like power levels are kind of irrelevant. What matters is what your shit can do. And that's I think this beauty of that system. For as like overdone as it is, I think that's what's fucking awesome about it.
I don't know. For me, the fact that there are Nen conditions, like, that just blows my mind. That this is power of friendship done right. Like, if you're willing to sacrifice your life for your friend and you make that condition, you get stronger.
The way that Togashi set it up, and I understand there's a lot to take in with Nen. It's basically like he just dumps like an entire like study guide on your lap, and it's just like, try to figure this out. But when you do, it's so rewarding. But he really tried to make it like, this is a power that you have, so you can make it whatever you want to be. But if you got to add certain conditions and limits to it to make it really strong. I just love the concept, so I have to vote for Nen 100% of the way.
Yeah, I also vote for
100,
Nen.
I totally agree.
And I'm the only one who watched World Trigger, so hey.
Yeah.
Well, I put World Trigger against Hunter x Hunter because I figured no one else has seen it, and like, okay, I'll let Nux defend it, but I'm not gonna place
You were
it.
supposed to put it against like Fairy Tail. Then we could have like a real argument.
But no one's seen it, so I'd rather get rid of it early on. I'm Lord Rigo after all.
After all. All right, Hunter x Hunter wins, much to everyone's surprise. Next, we have One Piece. They have Haki and Devil Fruits. I guess that's both powers.
I was going to specify which one.
I guess it's both.
Well, I think
but
if
not
it was just Devil Fruits or just Hockey, it wouldn't be too strong. But I think the combination of both of them is what makes it
Yeah,
so
because
hot.
like, for example, you have Logia Fruits, and if there's no Haki, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Exactly.
everybody has the potential to wait yourself, you know.
Yeah, and then again, like if there's no hockey, it's like you have Shanks. Like, what does he do? Right.
He swings a sword and he looks really badass.
Fair enough. That is a point to One Piece against Dragon Ball with Ki and stuff.
So, just to be clear, are we talking Dragon Ball or are we talking Z as well?
I say the entire franchise.
I was just saying the whole franchise.
Okay, I have trouble with this one because, like, in a way, Dragon Ball's one is super unrefined. Like, it is a number that goes up. But on the other hand, it's the source for nearly everything else on this list. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kept it really basic with that. It's just key. And they abandoned the power level concept early on just because if they kept, like, how much have a power level would Ultra Instinct Goku have? Like 50 quadrillion? Like, it doesn't matter at that point. Like, who gives a shit? But, yeah, it's very vague. I'll give you that. It's just very basic energy.
Yeah, and, like, I think, like, a lot of the power levels in Dragon Ball Z, it was a way to prop up the plot as opposed to an actual system. And, like, I think it's like, I know you get, like, people who have, like, entire channels and stuff dedicated to, like, analyzing power levels. To me, it is probably the least interesting thing about the fights from Dragon Ball Z. And so if this was like the fights from Dragon Ball Z versus the fights from One Piece, I'd probably go Dragon Ball. If we're talking pure battle systems, rules and stuff like that, I guess I feel like One Piece built on the foundation that Dragon Ball created more. That would be my pick anyway.
Mhm.
I'm with you there 100%. I don't even know if when Toriyama, like when he came up with Dragon Ball, he knew it was going to be like, oh, I better come up with this really intricate system. So he's just like, it's just your energy and you could shoot lasers. That's all it ever really was. Because they break it a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but actually,
Series,
there's a surprising amount of stuff in there too. Like, I was actually talking to Seth a while back, and I asked him. Seth is the chief power scaler master of YouTube, and so Dragon Ball guy. So basically, I asked him, why is it that when they have like a few hundred power level thingo and they punch each other, it like wrecks mountains in the distance. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like that.
And now they're like quadrillion times stronger, and they punch each other, and everything's fine around them. It's like it doesn't destroy galaxies or whatever.
Well,
when
didn't
Goku,
that kind of happen in Super though? Sorry.
Yeah, it did.
Well, I remember like from what little I've seen of Super, like I remember specifically Goku fighting Beerus, and like they were in the like above Earth's atmosphere, and like the more they were fighting, they were like, oh, if they keep this up, the universe or like Earth is gonna be destroyed because like they kept like punching out these weird shockwaves. I don't know. I could just be misremembering, but
honestly, I hope that's what happened because that's something I could tell Seth next time. But anyway, so he was explaining to me how they have such a mastery of their ki. They also set up like a barrier to protect everything around them while they're fighting.
Okay, that sounds like a super fun fan theory.
Right, I know, that's what I was saying. But then he showed it to me.
The actual answer is how much budget does that episode have, and that is probably more accurate.
Okay, now you're bringing too much realism into it.
I can't help it. I can't help being too real. I'm sorry if that frightens you all.
No, I do that all the time, man.
Toriyama comes up with reasons for plot holes after the fact, like a lot.
Oh, he
but
does,
anyway.
He makes it up as he goes along, but I think that's all right. Like we're getting into a whole different thing, but in terms of the power level, the battle system, I
have to go One Piece, 100%.
One Piece, dude. One Piece vote. Yeah.
One Piece.
I wish they did more with energy. Like, you know how Krillin was able to transform or like merge his energy into that Destructo disc? I thought that was super cool, and that made him stronger than he was.
And like, I love the idea that the Destructo disc could cut anyone, regardless of power level. I thought that was really cool, and then they kind of walked that back later on, which I thought kind of sucked.
Yeah, they make fun of that in the abridged series all the time.
Saitama.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them do different things with energy, like whips with energy, or like different types of energy type of thing.
Yeah, like get fucking weird with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, you kind of became who could fart out a bigger missile, you know?
Dude, there's actually a moment where it does get kind of weird like that. There's a scene where Goku touches Krillin's head and can read his mind. And it's like, okay, how long have you had that power? You know?
I think he got
I
that
love that in Dragon Ball. I love the little random powers that you're like, wait, what? Like when Piccolo summons a sword for Gohan, a sword and clothes, and it's like, wait.
Yeah,
The clothes beam.
Yep, Namekians can do that, but it's like something that never gets brought up. It's weird, you know?
Yeah.
So do we have a winner with this one?
So I think it's 5-0 for One Piece. It's pretty epic. Yay, 5-0 for One Piece.
I think I might have to go into my logo form because my camera's crap.
No.
No,
Right.
I've been logoed.
All right. Well, in any case, next we have Fairy Tail, the predicted winner of the entire tournament.
Absolutely.
Oh, total.
Naruto, you're
100%.
fucking going down.
Versus Naruto.
All right, now wait, whoa. Are we? Why is Naruto on here and not Boruto? That is the current series, Nux.
This is true, but I prefer Naruto.
I like Ninja Tech personally. No, okay.
I have my problems with Naruto as a series. That is one of the best battle systems in anime, I think. Like, I think
I'm glad you said it.
So good.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say until the war arc or something.
Yeah, there's a point where it becomes giant laser blasts, which
The giant laser blast is not fun. Yin Yang style. That's like ridiculous.
I guess we could kind of knock points off for that, but I doubt that's going to factor into this decision. You know, I think I like Fairy Tail more than most. It's like, it is anime junk food that I enjoy from time to time, but like its battle system is like, when I think of people complaining about the power of friendship, I think of Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
I don't think of Fairy Tail per se as the power of friendship. I personally really like Fairy Tail, even though I know it's not the best. The power system is utter garbage, I think, because it makes no sense.
Oh, it is. It totally is. I tried to break this out what it is, and they at the beginning of the series, they kind of talk about what magic is, but they don't really go anymore with that. They'll have things like there's holder magic and caster magic and like ancient magics, but they don't explain like what that is. Like, can anybody just pick up like Kana's cards and use them? Like, how does that work exactly?
My favorite thing is how they come up with these random, magics that make no sense later. Like, you remember Fairy Law?
Oh, yeah.
That move. You remember what that did? That had the ability to defeat anyone, anywhere, who has evil intentions towards you. They just die, okay? That's what Fairy Law does. And he never uses it ever again.
They used it like 3 times, I think, in the series. One of the times I don't think it worked, but why do I know this information?
See, I'm in the process of watching Fairy Tail right now, right? So I'm not that far in. I'm about halfway through the anime, pretty close.
Are you enjoying it?
I like it. It's definitely not my favorite by any means, but like it's enjoyable. But
yeah, I spent a while watching it, and I like looked back on it, and I was like, man, how many episodes did I actually watch? 200.
Yeah,
it's just easy to watch.
It's easy to watch, and there are a lot of things that are really likable about it. Like, for example,
there's fun characters.
The way they hype up good guy moments is really good. Like, I don't know. Did you watch Natsu versus the Twin Dragons?
Yep, I did.
Like, oh my god, that was so good, even though it made no sense, but it was so good.
I fucking love Erza as well.
Yeah,
you got to do like just like what you said, iPatch. You got to like just treat it like junk food and turn your brain off, and it's cool to look at, and it's awesome music and fun enough characters. I'm like, all right, this will kill an afternoon.
Totally. But to bring things back on topic, the battle system is not there, and especially against what I consider one of the stronger contenders on this list.
I just
I guess we'll make fun of Naruto next round when it's against One Piece or something. Oh, it's not gonna be against One Piece. Anyway,
not yet.
Not necessarily.
I'm trying to Lord Rigo it and make it Naruto versus Bleach.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be Naruto versus Bleach because Bleach is against Magi. Bleach versus Magi. I vote Magi.
Well, hey, you're getting ahead of yourself, bud.
No, I'm not.
We got to vote. We still got to vote for this one. We still got to vote for this.
I vote for Naruto.
I also vote for Naruto, as you would say.
Naruto.
Okay, thanks, Pookie. Okay, with that honorary voting out of the way, we have Bleach versus Magi.
Okay,
mean,
defend Magi now, because I know
I
you
have
want to.
You really
I
want
have
me
to go
defend
on Bleach by default here because I haven't seen Magi. I don't know.
I've never, me neither. I've never seen
No!
Magi vote for Bleach. Take the stage, Nux. Well,
This is
convince
not
me
fair.
otherwise.
Dude,
No.
Bleach is gonna get shit on next round anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, it does matter because I want Magi to win. Magi's amazing. It's like I love Magi. I bet
Okay.
you've seen Magi.
I have, and I think Bleach takes it.
No,
I think Magi is a beautiful looking anime, and all the magic is really fucking amazing and well animated, and it's a bunch of fucking horse shit. It's like I pulled the fire sword out of my chest and I fought the Batman.
Okay, so I guess I need to try to defend Magi, even though
Go for it. I'm open to a
guys
defense.
against it. So, like, here's the thing: there are 3 Magis in every generation, and they're the most powerful wizards. Yes, they're the strongest mages.
Going with
Because-
Bleach.
Wait, let me finish. No.
Let
Is
the
it
man
over?
finish his wrong
it over?
statement.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. So here's the thing: there are 3 Magi in every. So everyone has Magoi, right? That's basically the chakra of the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now the reason why Magi are stronger than your average mage are because they can use Magoi around them as well, not only the Magoi in them. So they have like an unlimited supply of chakra per se. Now, I like the battle system because when someone beats a dungeon and they get a Jin, the Jin has its own powers, and obviously you can make it stronger. And if you mix up different Jin, you could basically become awesome. Like, I'll give you an example of a cool move that was done. I don't remember his name, but this was the main guy of the Ko Kingdom, the guy with the red beard. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. Continue.
Yeah. So that guy has 3 Jins. He has a fire Jin, he has an earth Jin, and he has another one that I don't remember. So basically, he used his fire Jin to its strongest. He used up all of his Magoi from that fire Jin, and he wiped out a whole bunch of guys. And then he switched to the earth Jin and basically made a volcano because he can change the landscape. And when the volcano erupted, he turned back into his fire Jin, went back into that volcano, and because he's hit by fire, it replenishes his fire Magoi. So he's able to do his fire Jin thing again. Like, that's a strategy you can't see almost anywhere else. Like, it was really freaking crazy. And that was just,
in fairness, that is pretty cool. And also, like, I kind of forgot about the thing where people have to earn their Jin as well. Like, that is
like
legitimately
all for it.
awesome. Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yep.
There are household vessels, and
I think Bleach is there is stuff I really like about Bleach. I love that each sword has like a specific ability. You know, I think
that's basically what a Jin is for someone.
Oh no, totally. And you've kind of won me over with that argument.
But do Jins have different transformations versus just because there's a sword that has a specific ability, that's not the end of it, you know?
I mean, we're also not including keto and stuff here.
Yeah, but keto, which no one uses ever.
I mean,
whenever it's used,
should have been more fleshed out.
It never seems to be used in any progress.
Yeah, that's
no
because it's always like Rukia saying, "Ooh, keto number 74, Byakurai."
I think that stuff should have been so much cooler because I liked all that. I liked that there was a magic system, but yeah,
yeah. I always wondered why. Okay, Ichigo is like a 15-year-old at the start of the series. I always wondered why he never wanted to learn keto. He might not have been good at it, but what 15-year-old kid doesn't want to learn how to shoot freaking lightning bolts from his tanks or something?
Because the only guy who could use keto decently was like that fat visored guy.
There's like a bunch of people, but okay.
But not a lot.
There's also like Tessei or whatever his name was.
Remember, there were a few guys.
There's Tessai, there's Hachi,
Yes,
there's
right.
Byakuya, there's Ukitake,
none of them did anything decent. Like,
well, that's not exactly.
Aizen was so cool. He made that cool big black box thing.
That was fucking sick. I love that.
And he one-shotted the captain. Okay,
I think the one time that keto was ever used to actually like defeat a major opponent was when Hachi used it against Baragon, and he could teleport like a box inside of him, and that killed him. And I think that's the only time it was ever used to actually finish off an opponent.
But no one can use that high-level keto except for the guy that can only use keto. Like, everyone else
that just means it's more of a rare thing.
Byakurai. Yeah. Keto is a rare meme, I tell you. It's a meme.
I feel like Nux puts out a pretty strong argument on this one.
Yes,
it's a meme.
Don't do that.
I don't know, but like also like fire, earth, and stuff is pretty basic.
No, but there's only a few. Like, I mean, they don't. All of them have different powers. Like Sinbad has that one Jin that could that attaches itself to nature. So every bird and every insect in all of his kingdom, he sees through their eyes.
That's
Like
cool.
that's something
but
that's
even just the concept of switching Jin. That's pretty cool.
that's amazing.
Yep.
But then you'd also have to like verse multiple towers to get multiple Jins, which would make your power like so much. It'd make you so much stronger.
Yeah, but your average major opponent has, let's say, 1 Jin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then you have to a battle between 2 of those guys depends on personal training and advantages. And there's that one guy who can make like those teleporty thingos that he can slice things in half. You know what I'm talking about? One of the code guys. So it becomes a strategic battle if it's a 1-on-1. And the thing is, since it's in a political setting and there are different countries with different powers, certain people don't want to match up against other people. They always want to have a different advantage. And it affects the power system because everyone worries about having a Magi as well because they have incredible powers that are not necessarily metal vessel. So I don't know. I personally think Magi has an incredible power system. I think it's better than Bleach's.
All right.
I'm going to go with that.
I'm going to go with
Bleach.
I got to go
like
with
an
Bleach
evolved.
because
Yeah,
It's
I'm
an
gonna have to go
evolved
with Bleach
Dragon
just because
Ball.
I haven't seen Magi.
Oh no, it's all up to Briggs.
So I understand it more. But
in the earlier
nothing against
parts,
the other one.
yeah, in the earlier parts of Bleach, I feel like Kubo wanted to do something more with it, like where it's like there's like molecules called spiritons, and they're like, you know, that's how like the basis for reishi. And I'm like, I think he was going to do something with it, but he just never got to that point.
Yeah, like it definitely has a lot of issues, and if it wins, I'm sure we'll talk about that next. But
Well,
Yeah.
it has so many issues. Like I would talk about it now.
Oh yeah.
Unless Briggs votes for Magi, and we could talk about it next round.
Well, I do like Magi a lot, but I don't know. I was never super attracted to the power system in Magi for whatever reason. Like the way you described and defended it seemed super cool, but like having watched it myself, I just didn't get like that feeling from it. You know, like people who were Magi had a huge advantage because they had unlimited. And
Yes,
then,
but at the same time, they don't have that OP Jin power helping them. Like Aladdin is way weaker than Sinbad. No one's claiming he's up there.
fair point. I don't know. This is a really hard decision for me. Is it all up to me? Is it 2-2?
It's 2-2. The 2 guys that saw Magi versus the 2 guys that didn't see Magi.
Well, I mean, iPatch Wolf. I thought he hadn't seen Magi.
No, he saw Magi.
I saw the first.
okay.
I've seen the first season of Magi, and I do have to say it. Like the stuff Nux is saying sounds awesome. I didn't really get that from the first season, but I feel like his argument is strong enough that I'm willing to change my mind.
It's so sad. I feel like his argument is strong enough to make me want to vote Magi, but having watched both, I feel like I still like Bleach's
I
better.
think you got to go with your gut.
Yeah, I think I have to go with Bleach just because it might just be Kubo's way of making everything seem cool and making every power like seem cool.
But it made no
That Kubo
sense.
is the master of making shit seem cool.
Exactly,
No.
right?
He is, right?
Like it's so much more memorable to me, that power system, and like it has more of an impact.
Well,
on
it's
me
way
versus
more
Magi.
episodes, to be fair.
I've watched Magi more recently, and I still.
Nux, you got to let it go. It's over, buddy.
No.
It was a hard
Let it
decision. It was a very hard
Can we get an F in the
Like,
chat,
I'm with
please?
you for whatever it's worth.
Well, thank you. It's worth
Don't
a lot,
hold
I
it.
guess. I guess.
Okay, My Hero Academia versus Black Clover.
I'm still lamenting Magi, and you just move on like that.
You got to be fucking stone cold in this business.
Thanks for the F, please.
You know, I know this doesn't have anything to do with the core of the world. It really makes like, okay, what if our society had superpowers and stuff to be put in place? I just love that aspect of the series. But it has really to do with the actual
Well,
quirks.
as far as the actual power system goes with My Hero Academia, I have so many issues with it. Like, a ton. First of all, it doesn't really make any sense for any of their powers. Like, I'll give you an example. And I'll just mention this because it was in, like, the latest episode. You remember Mirio?
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember how he says whatever he makes move throughable, permeable, right? That was a better word. Permeable, like it can't see light, he can't taste, he can't feel. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he turns intangible. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Do you remember when his face popped out of the floor in front of Deku, and he talked to him?
I think so.
How is that possible?
Well, maybe whatever part is, through All right, so let's just say his face alone is no longer intangible, but like
Fair
right
enough.
below his face is. So like,
Okay,
I don't know.
even
That would
better,
be
but
my
how-
interpretation.
No, but it can't be because like his esophagus and his trachea are intangible, so he can't speak. Also, it's impossible for him to get to that point. Whenever his mass goes over a different mass, it pops him out
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for that to happen. That's just one example of like a million in My Hero Academia. Or like you have Deku who flicks in the tournament and destroys a glacier, and then punches Stain in the face, and Stain's just like, "Oh, you punched me in the face."
Well, he probably didn't use all of his power. Like,
that's
my argument.
Even five. No, hold on. He was using 5% of his power when he punched Stain. Okay, 100%. Let's say that was 100% on a flick that broke an iceberg from a distance because of the air pressure.
Okay, but what if Stain just has like a lot of like natural defense? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Dude.
Stain is always referred to as someone that's incredibly fast, ungodly strong. You know, for a villain. But he wasn't really.
I can't think of the right word, but
Look, so you'd be argue there's like a lot of inconsistencies in Heroes battle
There's
system.
a ton of inconsistencies, and some of them don't even make sense. Like to the point that a lot of people claim. I mean, the way it's explained is that it's an evolution. Like it's part of their DNA that they evolved to this,
Mhm.
right? It's like some of them.
Kind
Yeah.
of. It was implied, like in the first episode, that there was this baby that was born in China and it was glowing, and that had something to do with it. I don't know.
that was
It's
just the
never
first
really
one.
been.
Like it's natural
Yeah.
evolution, basically. Is
Is
what
it-
it
That's
means.
how I understood it.
Okay.
Natural evolution type thing. And a lot of these powers don't make sense. One, don't make sense to be natural evolutions. And also, like, take Aizawa, for example. Like, he can look at someone and their quirk gets undone. Right?
Yeah.
His DNA is transferring through his sight to undo the DNA evolution of the other person.
Well, I
Like,
mean, it
that's
doesn't
a
work
thing?
for it doesn't work for like mutated quirks or
Yeah,
whatever.
he
it's called.
but it
actually
works for the
goes
other
into.
ones.
Yeah, he goes into further detail. Like, there's a thing called the quirk activation factor, and he's disabling that. He's not actually disabling the quirk. They do go into detail with it, how it
I know,
works.
but it doesn't make that much sense. Like, if you really look at a lot of the individual
But like
quirks.
Nux, with something like that, like there is a point where you drill down into those stuff and you have to just be like anime magic.
Yeah,
You're
like
right,
it's an
but-
anime.
We could apply that same argument to anything else on the list.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. Like, Nen is pretty, you know.
Okay, explain to me how Nen works.
Okay,
You
so
don't want me to
basically,
explain to you how Nen works.
I was gonna make like a.
you don't need to actually answer that, but do you get my point here? Where like there is a
No,
point.
but you could kind of, from the information they give you, you could kind of have a baseline for how it works. Like the thing I told you with Mirio, that just doesn't make sense. Or Bakugo. Like he closes one hand in front of another and all of a sudden he could shoot like super powerful, like, you know, blasts. I don't know, whatever that thing was called.
He's a sweaty boy.
He's a sweaty boy indeed, but if his sweat explodes because he puts one in front of the other, it becomes a cannon. It's like...
I'm a little bit more confused on how, like, when Bakugo like punches his fists into his hand, it doesn't like hurt him, but that's just me. I'm like,
his
okay.
gloves,
Here's my
his
question.
indestructible gloves.
Here's my question.
Not even his gloves. When he does it with his bare hands, it still doesn't hurt him.
Well, he has a natural resistance to it, but to a certain point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you can't just be resistant to explosions. I'm like, okay, then you're invincible. Then okay.
Here's my question, right? So, do these inconsistencies really take away from the battle system?
Now we're
I
talking.
don't think they do.
This is the point I want to
I
get
don't-
to.
I don't think they do.
I get, their inconsistencies, but do they really matter when it comes to like
What do you think?
how
Nux?
they operate in a battle? Yeah.
I guess that completely depends on the individual, but I don't think that. I think it took me a little while to understand Mirio's ability, but after I got it, I was like, oh, okay, I know what Horikoshi's going for here. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say it hinders it for me. But honestly, that aside, do I need to say why Black Clover's is better or like?
If you want to.
I haven't seen it.
So basically, iPatch, have you seen it?
Only bits and pieces.
So the way it works is everyone gets a grimoire, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And so the magic is pretty simplistic, basic stuff. Like I could shoot fire, I could shoot ice, I could make steel. Like normal magic stuff. What's cool? What kind of like a quirk, but quirks are cooler than just that. But the thing is, the way they get new spells and new spells like appear in their grimoire is due to life experiences.
Mhm.
it's all based on they want to surpass their limits, and they've learned something about themselves or whatever. And let's go the cliche route. I want to protect my friends with my whole heart. So he'll develop a kind of defensive spell. Like, do you hear what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like-
I liked it. I won't give out spoilers, but like, let's say you're a very selfish person. All the spells will only work on you. But let's say you start to open yourself to others. It'd be like, oh, I can now have a spell that works on other people as support. Stuff that you
Yes.
never
I think
used before.
that's the good shit with the
Yeah.
battle anime. Like that's the kind of sweet spot for me with a lot of stuff. I love it when a character's individual personality traits are expressed in their battle style. And that's to me a huge plus to Black Clover.
Yeah. Like, for example, My Hero Academia, it's whatever you're born with, kind of.
Mhm.
Well,
Tell
you
Mark
can
to
also like One Piece, for instance, right? Guy's rubber, and yeah, he can do all this crazy stuff. Like just because you're born with something doesn't mean you can't like expand on it and learn from it and like
Right.
create.
That's
new things
true,
with
and I
it.
think like what kind of
Oh,
makes Luffy cool in that case is the insane shit he learns to do with rubber.
Yeah.
Like you could see another rubber user just being like, "Yeah, I could stretch real good."
Yeah, and like if
Yeah.
you apply that to My Hero Academia, I feel like it could have like the same potential.
Okay,
You're right, but the potential isn't fully there. Like, someone without a quirk, chances are, would not beat Deku with One for All.
Well, I mean, no, they're a normal dude. Like they're
Unless they have a
screwed.
machine gun.
Apparently,
And
you
then
haven't read. Apparently, you haven't read Vigilantes.
You're right.
I
I have not.
man, I wish Hero Academia was just about that vigilante dude. I think
It's
he's
so good.
he's so much more interesting than everyone else in that show. Anyway, look, what I want to say about Hero Academia is like the reason I'm kind of having a go at your inconsistency argument, Nook, is because I don't think the battle system in Hero Academia is interesting at all.
Yeah.
Like for
okay.
whatever else you want to say about that show, well animated, people like the characters, all that kind of stuff, it barely has a battle system. And like the fights are emotional, like they're
I'll give you that.
they
Oh,
get you
100%.
feeling things. I never feel like they're that clever or anything that I haven't seen done better by like a lot of other anime.
Yeah, you know what? I always viewed My Hero as a cross between a battle shonen and a slice of life, and it's this weird kind of hybrid. So
I
it
can
doesn't
see
have to. It doesn't have to have great grandiose battles to be interesting. It could be without it. But now that I actually think about it, you're kind of right.
I would agree with you, but like I'm not rating the show's quality. I'm rating its battle system.
Right, and
that's what we're all doing here.
yeah.
But I hear that. I agree, 100%. Like, if you look at like Deku versus Bakugo, I mean, that fight was great, but at the same time, it was just punching and explosions.
Was this the one? Was this the first one or the second
Nah,
one?
the most recent one.
Right.
Yeah, the most recent one, or All for One versus One for All. Like, that was a great fight. It hit every emotional note, but at the same time, bad guy punch, I punch. In the end.
Yeah, like, and
I guess that's fair.
I wish they used the quirks in more unique ways. Like one example in Black Clover is there's this guy who kind of like make fire, but he has a very limited amount of like chakra for if you like I don't know what type of energy they have in Black Clover. So what he does is he throws
Mana.
fireballs
They
kind of
have
like
mana. Yes, they have mana.
he throws it kind of like a baseball. So he's all about quickness and precision rather than just like flamethrower. While like Todoroki is just kind of like flamethrower and this huge ice thing. When I feel like it could be used in a lot of unique and cool ways that isn't
Or you
really
have
explored.
Fuegoleon, that guy. He makes this massive blast of fire, and then this one really precise one that breaks through the shield, like something like that.
Yeah. Like it's used they use their powers in like very unique ways. In
My
Black Clover.
favorite move Asta did in the whole Black Clover, and this isn't really spoiler. I mean, it kind of is really spoilers, but it's in the anime already, so like whatever. He's against this guy that makes portals. Like he makes a portal next to himself and a portal next to Asta, and then he like shoots a laser through his own portal, and it comes out next to Asta to try to blast him. Yeah,
I like lasers.
some good shit. Yep, I like that.
So and he's opening like these portals everywhere, shooting lasers at Asta, and eventually, and Asta has these swords that whenever he touches magic, it dispels it, right?
Yeah. I think
So-
Black Clover's magic's a little bit more basic.
Extremely
no,
basic.
it's generic but used in cool ways, while the quirks are more complex but are used in simpler ways. If that makes sense, it's like some of the quirks are really like more abstract, but I feel like they're not used in like unique ways. While it's kind of just like fire, ice, like all these different things in Black Clover, but they find a way. individual uses their powers very differently, and that's what I like about Black Clover.
Yes. So
If
back
that
to
makes sense.
portal guy for a second. The portal guy opens one next to Asta to shoot a laser through. Asta drops his swords, jumps through the portal right in front of the portal guy, and just knocks him out with a punch. Like, that's so good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
That'll
good.
do it.
That's like that. He completely destroyed the other guy with the other guy's own power by not using any of his own powers.
Are we ready to vote?
I vote Black Clover.
I'm gonna vote Black Clover.
I'm gonna vote Black Clover.
I will also vote Black Clover.
Damn, this is crazy. What?
I mean,
My
definitely hold your
Well, like,
argument.
no,
Like, I think it
gotta
sounds
remember,
really cool.
we're talking about the battle systems and not the
Yeah.
shows
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big difference.
You
Who'da thunk it,
definitely
right?
sold me on that. Like, I'll give you a vote just so it's a straight 5, but I have to see it before I can obviously give my full opinion.
Damn. All right.
Cool.
That was pretty
Interesting.
scary.
I didn't see Hero Academia going out in the first round.
No, same here. That's why I love
Yeah, me-
Rant Cafe. Anyway, next we have Fullmetal Alchemist versus Noragami.
Never seen Noragami.
Same.
Oh.
But Full Metal Alchemist has like Alchemist, so I'm gonna go with Alchemy.
Oh wow. Very, very in depth here. Thanks.
Legitimately though, I think Full Metal Alchemist battle system is really unique and different. And I love how like there isn't really a power progression. I like how everyone
I was
stays-
gonna get to that.
I like how everyone stays on like the same kind of intimate level where no one can like, no one can like blow up a planet, and that means everyone has to get smart with it. And I like that a lot. I've only watched an episode or 2 of Noragami. I don't really remember it, but does anyone want to make a case for it?
Well, I was gonna vote for Full Metal Alchemist, but so like I guess not. I'm not gonna even try.
I mean, the thing about Full Metal that's cool is it really just comes down to your understanding of chemistry and what materials you have to work with, and that's where you get the most bang for your buck with alchemy, so to speak.
Yeah, and like
Equivalent exchange.
I love how like equivalent exchange is the only real rule, but look at how much they get out of that. Like look at all the different fighting styles, and I think that's rad.
And that's something cool with that too, is that Arikawa put in the Philosopher's Stone, which is sort of like the cheat code to it, as if they knew like, well, we might want to bend the rules with equivalent of state exchange sometimes. So instead of it being a plot hole, I'm just going to have this Philosopher's Stone, and it's like you get to cheat it every now and then, but not very often.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
vote for Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist for me.
With you there.
5.
That's
That's sweet. Cool.
That's
I'm
sweet,
back,
kids.
but also voting for FMA.
Good stuff.
Okay, next we have Soul Eater versus Pokemon. And before you say anything, it was
How-
Greg's idea.
It's Pokemon.
Okay.
It's gotta be Pokemon.
Animal
the
abuse.
battle system is that the cockfights.
I mean, like, just putting the anime aside, if you just look at the games, like they have a whole system set up. So some things are, more effective or not very effective. Like
I think
you just apply that to the anime.
Pokemon is one of the killers on this list. Like that is such a like established rule system with all the, and like even forget Pokemon's battle system isn't like fire type versus water type, it's trainer versus trainer, and each of the trainers have a Pokemon with a specific ability set
Have
and
6.
a backstory to how they got that Pokemon. That's fucking rad. Like that's
No, it's amazing.
and like I like Soul Eaters, but like I think again when I think of Soul Eaters, I'm more thinking like if it's aesthetic, I think of the characters, I think it kind of like it's weird Halloween tone. The battle system doesn't really stand out to me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I kind of like the battle system in Soul
The
Eater.
weapon shit is
How
cool.
they
The
bond.
weapon shit is really really cool.
Well,
But
that's kind of most of it.
I
Yeah.
can think of like really cool fights in Soul Eater, but like overall, probably Pokemon.
Yeah,
let me
most of
tell
it.
you about Raichu versus Pikachu.
Enlighten me.
I'll link you some very good Slipknot AMVs. It'll trust me. It'll turn you on.
That'll be beautiful.
Dude,
See,
nothing is
California
better
without
than
Wild
Ash.
Brains eyes.
Ash versus Paul is one of the greatest anime.
Oh
battles.
my god, it's fucking. Did you guys watch that like 11-minute AMV someone made of it? And it's
No.
the hypest shit in the fucking world.
Because
They use like 4 different songs.
I stopped watching it, and I never saw. I don't even know who Paul is.
Oh, dude, just look up Paul versus Ash. Like, don't even
No,
worry
but
about.
the problem is you really need the whole backup before that fight.
Yeah, that's the
Maybe.
problem.
I didn't have that. I watched it completely out of context, and I was like, "This is the best shit in the world."
That's
Dude,
that's
you
not
don't
Pearl, right?
understand. Like Paul had a Chimchar, okay, who was like he was a decent Pokemon, but Chimchar let him down because he wasn't as good as Paul expected. So Paul kind of ditches him, and Ash adopts him, and then Ash fights Paul, and Paul and his Chimchar is Ash's last Pokemon, and Paul has like 4 left or 5 left. Chimchar beats one and ties the next one, and Ash loses, and then Ash fights him again in the league, and when he fights him again, Ash uses the same exact team of Pokemon. And Paul has his even tweaked to beat Ash better.
Yeah.
And with that same team, Chimchar takes out like 4 guys. It was so crazy.
Yeah,
It
see,
was
like
so
that's
good.
But even like if you think about the original series, some of the shit they did, like knocking, like I remember being so devastated when they knocked Ash out of the Pokemon League. Like I couldn't believe it because like they weren't afraid to take chance. Like I know Pokemon's a kind of kid show. I know it's like a lot of people consider it like an entry level anime. It is one of the best battle systems on this list, without question.
Oh my God, Briggs, you're a genius.
But of course. By the way, Tekken, nice hat.
I know it's great, right? But yeah, I'm like, I feel bad for Ash. I'm like, can he just win a league at some point? Like,
When
I mean, he won.
The anime will end.
He wins
He will
Orange.
never become a Pokemon master because
he wins
that means no
Orange
more money.
Island. Orange
He also
Island
kind
is
of-
the only one. Yeah.
No, he wins Battle Frontier.
Does he? Oh well.
I also like Battle Frontier. That was a good one. But anyway, Pokemon wins.
Yeah, I think so. Anyone making the case for Soul Eater?
I mean,
Nah.
compared to Pokemon.
I mean, I could try to spin something if you want to. I mean, the thing about Soul Eater I've always really liked is it's like a cooperative sort of battle system. Like you need to have someone to work with, and it's like your emotions have to be all in sync and everything. It was a very spiritual kind of power source,
Yeah,
and I
that's
like
cool.
that.
Like, that is
I
cool.
liked it, but yeah, you know, Pokemon's just kind of better.
Like, but do you know? And now I never read the manga Soul Eater. I just watched the series. But
I've read the whole thing. Yeah.
The problem I had with the series is the fights got progressively lamer as it went on. Like, the
Different laser sights.
Black Star versus the samurai guy. What was his name?
Mifune.
Mifune. Yes.
Their first fight is one of the best fights in anime. Fucking incredible. Their last one ends with a samurai slide. You know, and it's like,
because that was at the end of the anime, and they kind of had to wrap that up. I don't know how much they changed from the manga, if they changed anything.
It was all filler.
I seem to remember the battle with Mifune in the anime when the manga was way cooler than what we got in the anime. In the anime, at the end of it, they just decide, let's just make giant robots fight each other. I'm like, okay, but you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of disappointing stuff at the end of that.
Oh,
but
God,
Excalibur, I have a fight now. Excalibur is one of the greatest anime characters of all time. Do you remember Excalibur?
Let me tell you about the time that I found this thing sitting outside my house, and I sat there and I looked at it and I stared at it a lot, and you won't believe what happened next because yes, I do remember Excalibur.
I remember going through like watching like the Excalibur episode and thinking like this is really funny, and then being like this is terrible, but then coming back around again all the way and being like no, this is actually pretty funny, but then coming back around again and being like no, it's bad, and I don't even know where I fucking landed.
Did you see the filler episode where they find that there was that one kid that did end up wielding Excalibur?
Oh my God.
And he was unannoyed by everything he did. He was like the perfect Meister, but then he was just like, he sneezes a lot and that annoyed me, so I got rid of him.
Oh, God.
Yeah, right. Excalibur's so good, and he has such a good theme song.
Yes.
So Pokemon takes it.
Yeah, Pokemon takes it.
Just barely though.
I'm glad we gave Soul Eater a fighting chance though. You know.
Well, I think that's like my podcast does something similar like this with like the games we play at the end of the year, and part of it I think is about like giving everything its due to an extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, Toriko versus JoJo's.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone want to make the case for Toriko?
Nope.
I will.
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. The thing about Toriko that I like is that at the beginning of the series, they just had these that you just assume they're just like intimidation, like they're just really strong and they're like scaring these animals into submission. And it takes the appearance of like for Toriko, it's an Oni. For Coco, it's like a Japanese ghost. And I used to always think, oh, that's just the author interpreting their intimidation, like what these animals are seeing. But he spins that in such a clever way by making those like actual entities that live inside of them with a whole backstory and lore. And I'll be honest with you, it was very confusing at certain points. But once you finally get it, it's so cool. It's like a reincarnation kind of deal. And I really hyped for that. I mean, JoJo's has stands, which are like it's one of the most fundamental anime kind of superpower. It's just, it's awesome. But I wanted to throw that out there for Toriko. I really dug that too.
I do have one complaint about stands that I think they could have made even better. How awesome would it be if stands were fighting, but the actual users were also having a battle at the same time? So it was like two ongoing battles at the same time.
Well, the thing is, they could. It's not like they can't do that.
They should. And
do.
if they didn't forget about Ripple, the combination of all three of those things would be the best. It would be the best battle system of all time.
Yeah, but I don't know. But the thing is, there were scenes in part 4, for example. I don't remember who was Josuke fighting that he was chasing. The guy with this weird voodoo doll stand.
That's I forget.
And he beat the heck out of him.
Yeah, he did.
That was amazing. This is bare hands. No, but the thing about stands, do I need to defend stands, or are we voting for JoJo's?
Oh, JoJo's is winning for 100%. But
yeah, I'm probably even gonna have to vote for JoJo's. I just wanted to throw that out there about Toriko because I really did like that series.
Well, I guess I know we don't need to make a case for JoJo's, but I guess when you look at this list, it's like you can trace everything on this list back to Dragon Ball except JoJo's.
Yeah.
JoJo's is like the complete outlier here. Although I guess Pokemon arguably kind of there's an argument to be made that Pokemon traces back to JoJo's. Think about it.
Well, if you think of it that way.
Well, okay, look, here's what I love about this, and this is actually why I would disagree with your arguments about the stand users fighting. I think it's really important that the stand user be this. It's like chess, and the stand user is your king. It's like this super vulnerable thing that even one hit to that, you're fucked. And I always love that because it means that you are always trying to checkmate your opponent into you're always trying to checkmate your opponent so that they lose. And it's about how you use your ability to do that. And I think that leads to practically infinite possibilities.
I guess
that's why Hand Guy, when he fights, he sucks, even though his stand is the most overpowered thing ever.
Yeah, it erases space or matter or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. He loses to Chili Pepper Guy. I mean,
but like you said, the king or what's called the stand user is so valuable. So don't you think someone like Joseph or Jonathan? Oh, well, we can't really use Jonathan because there wasn't stands at that point. Joseph, someone who has Ripple, would have an undeniable advantage. The fact that he would be able to be competent in hand-to-hand combat as well.
That's why Dio was so freaking
a king
scary.
that joins the battle is all the more.
That's why Jotaro versus Dio was so damn good. Because
yes,
Dio could also regenerate. And Dio had a way stronger stand than Jotaro. And Jotaro was destroying him the whole time. He blasted his legs to bits.
But that to me is what made that fight special. And so if everyone can fight, that takes that away in a way. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, would they definitely be a stronger fighter.
No, I'm not saying everyone should fight.
Yeah. But no,
one of my favorite stand battles
is arguments.
Jotaro versus Darby, the gambler guy.
Oh, but those are the stand fights I love, where it's barely a fight at all. They're the best. It's so good.
It's using your stands in a really clever way to bluff out your opponent. It's that kind of shit I love.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and that's the thing about JoJo's.
I'm not saying stands aren't brilliant. I am. I'm trying to play devil's advocate because that was one thing that kind of bothered me, how they completely forgot about Ripple or tried to ignore it because they were going on to a better system. But I think they combined it had some potential.
I wish they would have kept it around, and I guess they sort of did when we get the Steel Ball running.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Have you guys read part 7?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm only up to part 5. So.
Oh, dude, you're gonna love part 7.
Ooh, I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Okay, so JoJo's takes it.
JoJo takes it.
It's an easy one, yeah.
All right. Round 2. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yep, we good? Yeah.
We have Hunter x Hunter versus One Piece.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
go
got-
for Hunter x Hunter here.
I'm gonna go for Hunter x Hunter too. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
Hunter,
same,
Hunter.
same.
Nen is such a well-established thing.
Yeah,
I
think,
do think. Go ahead.
One Piece tells some really good stories throughout its fights. I don't know it's great at establishing a narrative in its fights. Does that make sense?
So the way
Yes.
I made the point that like I was comparing Naruto fights to One Piece fights at one point, and I was saying how One Piece its fights are very compared to Naruto, they're not necessarily great. It's the moments in One Piece that are great, whereas the fights are kind of means to an end.
Yeah, like what I look. Okay, so say Luffy versus Doflamingo. Luffy's reasons for fighting, awesome. Doflamingo's reasons for fighting, even better. The
Yeah.
fight itself, like in terms of
Meh.
like
Absolute-
Doflamingo does
right.
this, Luffy does this, the kind of back and forth, the dialogue between them, not that interesting.
Yeah, 100%. Whereas Naruto versus Pain was Naruto's reason for fighting, great. Pain's reason for fighting, great. But then again, the fight itself was also great.
Yeah, totally. And so, yeah, I would definitely cast my vote for Hunter x Hunter on this one.
Yeah.
As will I. Nen's it's a very complex and like intricate system. I do think
It
One
is.
Piece, the combination of Devil Fruits and Hockey is a good combination, but I don't think it can compare to Hunter x Hunter right now.
I think One Piece has some of the hypest moves for sure.
Yeah, like Nux was saying, the moments are unreal. They both have a
Yeah,
great
totally.
for fighting. The fight itself is okay, but that the moments within the fight and moments after the fight, especially, are unbelievable.
Spooky, weren't you? Didn't you make a Nen video a while back? I seem to remember you did. Yeah, okay, that was you. Yeah, and you and Swag Kage made some. I was gonna make one too. There's just so much to cover involving it. Yeah,
It was like a half hour long. Like
yeah.
and it's
If
not
I
even
tried to
going
do it, it would be like 2 hours if I tried to do it. But
I don't want to spoil anything, Spooky, but I've heard that there's another Nen video coming sometime in the future.
oh yeah, working on one right now.
oh,
Yeah.
So I happen to know like a little bit more offhand, so that's why I definitely want to vote for it. I don't know. For One Piece, for me, like personally, I feel like when they introduced hockey, it kind of like made the battles a little bit more stale. Like Luffy versus Crocodile, for instance. Like he had to find a way to hit Crocodile, like because now everyone can just punch a Logia and everything's fine. Like there's no more strategy. It's just kind of like, oh, here's my power, here's yours. Let's just mash each other and
You
code
know,
everything
I'd
with
really
hockey.
have to agree with that. Like, I like the hockey stuff, but I guess there is a simplicity that was lost.
like it's definitely cool, but there's no, like I said, I just feel like there's no more strategy and everything. It's just kind of like, oh well, you have a devil fruit power, I'll just punch you with hockey while
Yeah.
using mine.
No,
Like
I'd say in all, I like hockey. Like I like
Yeah.
the addition to hockey because I did not like the fact that Luffy beat Crocodile. I thought it made no sense.
Well, he did find his natural weakness, right?
well, yeah,
Yes,
like he
he
coated
can.
himself in water so he could
He did.
Yeah,
hit the sand.
I,
Like, that
I
makes sense to
understand,
me.
but I thought that
Made
the
it cool.
fight itself, whatever. Let's
What
not get
pissed me
into the
off
fight.
is that
Into that
Crocodile
individual
would
fight.
fucking kill Luffy when he won the first time, and then the second time, and then the third time. You know.
Yeah. I will lock you in a cage where you can be eaten by crocodiles.
It pisses me off. These are the worst villains of all time, man.
I love Crocodile.
Okay,
Yeah, I like Crocodile was cool. He had a
Shonen villains piss me off so much. Sometimes, like, you won the battle, just fucking chop the guy's head off and call it a day.
Crocodile.
okay. So I think we're pretty decided on that one.
Yeah, Hunter takes it. All right, next we have Naruto versus Bleach, who just barely beat Magi, I'll remind you.
Oh, I really would struggle to think up any reasons Bleach should take this one.
Thank you. I vote
Yeah.
Naruto too.
I don't. My one
I
issue
think
with
8
Naruto-
gates. 8 gates. That's a cool addition to the
It is. It is.
physiology of every person.
And
My
the
only
training
argument-
kind of like Pokemon's whole like fire, water, grass type of thing.
My only argument towards Bleach would be the fact that, like, for the chakra system, I feel like they don't do a very good job trying to explain, like, what jutsu use, like, a lot of chakra or when you're out of chakra. Like, they just kind of, like, just say it, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm using a lot of
Yeah.
chakra.
But
But they
yeah,
don't
I
really,
think
like-
that's like maybe a bit of a lost opportunity. All right,
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah,
could have
I
that
hear
could have
that.
really injected
Or
some good
Bleach.
tension into those fights.
I mean, but at
Yeah.
the same time, like Kakashi, when Kakashi fought Pain before his fight, he was like, "Whoa, I already used a lightning blade and a lightning dog. That's half
Yeah.
my chakra, right?" Like he
It's
said,
like,
that.
how do you? Yeah, but like, how can you? There should be a way that you can just know. right?
Yeah, like,
oh, this
I
move's going to use so much. Like, he's going to be
What-
weak after this.
What if there was like a classification system where like like every time a new jutsu is shown, there's like a little thing that says this is level 1, this is level 2, and that like they give us a baseline for what those mean, and that means something.
Yeah,
like
that would be cool.
Yeah.
But like in Bleach, they don't lose
Well,
chakra. Like
For Bleach, my main issue is like when they started making it like, oh, my Ryatsu is so much better than yours, so I'm like this much more powerful. Like for instance, Soifon's Bankai, right? You hit him twice in the same, or no, that's a Shikai. You hit him twice in the same
Shikai.
spot. Yeah,
Are you
hit
talking
her
about the
twice.
time she fought Aizen?
Yeah, you hit
That
it
was-
twice in the
that
same
was
spot. They
bullshit.
should, they're
Yep.
dead. They should be dead.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
my Ryatsu can overpower that. No, fuck off. That shouldn't
Yeah.
work that way.
Yeah,
That's dumb.
exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
That's my big issue with Bleach. Otherwise, I think like it had a lot of potential, but when they did that, no.
no, I just felt like there was one basic power system, and they kept introducing new ones that they were feeding into it, and Ichigo happened to be part of that family, right? Like, all of a sudden Quincy's are introduced, and that was fine, I thought, until Uryu got his powers back. I thought until that point, Quincy's were more or less okay. And then like they introduced hollows and visors and like fullbringers, and it just none of it really glued together. Really, I don't know. I vote Naruto 100%.
Same, totally.
As do I.
Yeah.
I'm very nostalgic for Bleach, but I gotta go with Naruto.
I have a lot of
Agreed.
fondness for early Bleach, but again, it's one of those things where I think what's awesome about early Bleach isn't the system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In the chat says, "Oh yeah, Hashirama sells solos Bleach."
Yeah, they do.
Absolutely.
They do rely on that dead guy's flesh a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, that's mostly like flashbacks and war arc stuff, trying to answer plot holes. Like, why isn't Obito dead? Hashirama sells.
Hashirama says.
Why
They
can
should make
Obito
us-
still use his Kamui after spamming it, but Kakashi uses it twice and his eye's bleeding? I wonder why.
He has Hashirama cells. They explained that already.
I know.
They need
I was making a sarcastic
I
joke.
know. I'm joking.
Okay.
Obito should have just tried to like bottle that stuff and sell it. Just like, I get your
Yeah, right.
Hashirama cells here. It cures what else, yeah. You lose
Dude,
a leg, you'll be good.
It is so crazy. Like Danzo can use Koto Matsukami once a day now because he has Hashirama cells. Like
Yeah.
that crazy unbeatable Genjutsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the cheating genjutsu that's like, I could just rewrite anything that happens.
Yes.
I win.
No, but the thing is, I'd say my one issue with the Naruto power system, aside from War Arc, is the Sharingan. Because that thing did everything. As you got
Well, I
closer.
mean,
It was so cool in the earlier arcs. You're completely right, but I remember like reading that shit first and being like, "Oh my god, the power's in his eye."
No, I agree. It was like really cool. But I'm working on a video now that all the different Mangekyo powers. Like one guy has he can warp things into other dimensions. One guy could put someone into endless Genjutsu. One guy
Infinite
could
flames.
unbreakable flames. So unbreakable. That's a bad word. But anyway, so I think it's all really based off one jutsu, and it depends on their life experiences that changes it to what it is. Like I'm working on a video for this because I think it's cool. Like it'll be either the next video I upload or the video after that, talking about fate in Naruto.
Ooh, fate.
And it's actually like whatever. Like for an example, like Kakashi sees everyone he's close to, he sees them disappear. So like his source of torment is he watches Obito disappear, and he watches Rin die, and he watches Minato die, and he watches Sasuke leave, and he watches his other students go to other people. Like that's the torment in his life. So his eye, whatever he looks at, disappears. Like, and it's like that for everyone with Mangekyo, and it's really cool. But anyway, so that's my answer to, hey, it's ridiculous. There's like 10 of the top 20 jutsus in Naruto are all Mangekyo. But at the same time, it's really all kind of one. But anyway, that's my take on it.
Magic eyes.
Magic Eye is pretty sick. And the Byakugan sucks.
Yep.
Moving on.
It got shafted.
Oh, big time. And then Naruto's daughter in Boruto taps him and he's knocked out.
Who we got next? Black Clover versus Fullmetal Alchemist? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, this is actually really hard.
Yeah.
No, 'cause
I'll
I feel like if someone's going to make the argument for Black Clover, it's probably going to have to be you. Has anyone else? Does anyone else
haven't
feel like
seen it.
taking that up?
I've seen it. I'm all up to date on it. I just think Full Metal is better.
I just there's a simplicity to Full Metals that I just love. Because you know exactly how their power works, and they do things, and you're like, oh shit, I would have thought of that.
Look,
you know?
you're right, but at the same time, there are certain parts of Fullmetal Alchemist that bother me. First of all, the fact that there's no power growth. In a way, that's good, but in a way, I don't love it.
Well, I mean, they don't get their power from. They do get it from inside themselves, but it's mostly just from like the world around them. So
and it's all brains, though. It's all like, oh, I can convert this, this
kind of because like they do have to spend a long time learning martial arts as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really cool. And like that's kind of to what Briggs was saying earlier about the JoJo's thing with like the stand user. I think there is an element of that in Fullmetal Alchemist, and it like works.
Yeah,
and there is a way to get stronger power. It's just that you got to make a Philosopher's Stone to do it. You know?
Yeah, but that's not like. I mean, you're right, but at the same time, But my issue with Fullmetal Alchemist is no one. Ed and Al use straightforward alchemy, right? Like they do it to everything around. Well, the floor, the walls. They make spears and swords, whatever. Yeah. But then you have, like, the Flame Alchemist. What does he do? He only does fire stuff. We never even see him do anything else.
I'm pretty sure we see him do other stuff, yeah.
I don't even remember. I only remember flames. And also, according to Equivalent Exchange, why is it that the little spark from his snap makes a massive explosion?
It's because of his gloves.
He has a thing. No.
The gloves are made out of a certain material that makes a spark when he snaps. And now he can turn that spark into a massive flame.
Because he's adjusting the oxygen around him when it happens.
Yeah, so it's just too ignition.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yes, that's how it works. Yes.
All right, that's cool. But like
it is.
you don't see him do other things, and you have that one cannonball general guy. Do you know who I'm talking about? The guy that's scar filled.
Major Louise Armstrong.
No, not him. I'm not getting to. Hold on.
You're talking about the Iron Blood Alchemist.
I don't remember their name.
There's some insignificant character that doesn't.
Yeah, that's a very insignificant character. Hold on, I have a
every character has that one thing that they do, and really they all have the exact same power. They're just better at different things, but none of them use each other's strengths. I feel like.
Well, what I would say to that though is like this is a 52 episode series, and there's a lot of characters, and
64.
64, and so they only have like. I think I was thinking of the original one. They only have like a certain amount of like encounters and so you don't really get that same kind of like long-term shonen bending the powers in lots of crazy ways. But I also think like the way they use their powers are interesting, and it's kind of different from what we've been talking about. But even take Mustang versus I can't remember. Was it Envy?
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was and like that was amazing because like it was using Mustang's powers but like kind of characterizing him through them because he was so just like fucking searingly furious, and like that's an amazing fight. Like
it's an amazing fight. It's one of the best moments in all of anime, hands down. But is it the power system that's amazing, or is it that he obliterated this guy that he hated really badly?
A little bit of both.
I can see Nux's point on that one.
Yeah.
Well, so Nux was kind of saying that like why are they not using each other's abilities? Well, for Mustang, it's kind of like the whole pass down the family for generations type of meme, where like no one else could use flame alchemy because it was hidden on Hawkeye's back type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a mystery, as well as there's more to combat than just the alchemy itself. So they specialize, and by specializing, they use that alchemy with specific tactics plus their martial arts. So I think like there's no reason for them to be using each other's abilities because they all choose one and kind of focus on it type of thing.
Mm-hmm. You're
and
right.
It's strong for them. If someone else were to try to use that cannonball shit, it wouldn't be as good the same way.
But why not?
Edward
why not?
Edward uses everything. Okay, go ahead.
Right, Edward uses everything. He's the standard guy. And like Scar's alchemy is the most basic of all. He deconstructs and just doesn't reconstruct. Everyone can technically do what Scar does.
Say there's a person who's been using a gun for 50 years, and then I hand you a gun. Does that mean you're just as powerful as that guy who's been using it for 50 years? No, because he has tactics, he has training, right?
I hear where you're coming from, but
by
also
employing everything,
there are so many people that cannot use alchemy. Like, why not? I would use alchemy if I was in that world.
I
Is
think
the
it was
implication
implied
not
that,
that it takes a lot of like education and training.
Exactly.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sure it does, and I don't need to be like I'm not. I don't want to be dog of the military. That's not me.
I'm pretty sure it was implied that like some people don't have their gates open or they don't have them inside them and they can't use alchemy. Like there's something that literally prevents them from doing. Not everybody could just become an alchemist. I'm pretty
So
sure.
then it's the way I saw it was more as a science. Like
Yeah, no,
the
I
way
think,
you're
like,
explaining
that's
it, it's
what alchemy is.
magical almost.
Pseudoscience.
I think what you're talking about is that everyone needs to draw circles and shit to do alchemy, but only a precious few can use it without circles.
Well, that precious feat, right? Are you talking to Tekking now?
Well, no, those
Yeah.
are the people that those are the people that perform human transmutation and they travel through the gate. They could do it without a circle, but I just don't think everybody can do it. I don't know.
I think
I
I would, and like I think to go back to Nux's point earlier, like you saying, well, why wouldn't I just learn alchemy? Well, it's kind of like, well, why don't you just like learn science? Why don't you invent cures to things right now? Because
Okay.
it takes
No,
a
that's
massive
because
amount of
me
experience.
learning science is way less cool than
It's very
turning coal
lazy.
into diamond. Okay.
Scientists are the heroes of the modern day, Nux.
Right. Absolutely.
I would like to tell you know how Edward knows the composition of things and like how, or the example with Mustang, and it's not just him using fire, like he actually changes the atmosphere. It's a lot of science you learn.
Yeah.
And I think
ability.
that's cool. I think
It's
that's
kind of like Momo from My Hero Academia. Like she can't just create whatever she wants. She has to know the genetic or atomic makeup of it. Like she
Which
can't
is
just
why it was
create a
really
cannon.
weird that she made a cannon.
Well, yeah, but like she
But
can't
it
just
was-
create it. She has to learn how to create it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
But and she
the
made a
thing is-
working transmitter and receiver.
yeah, dude, she's smart.
But she didn't make a gun.
Maybe she doesn't know how to make a gun. Like
Hero,
it's all about studying here.
You're right.
No,
You're
no,
right.
no, no. Hero,
the end of the
hero
day-
not pull out guns and shoot them in the face. That's not how heroes work. You
That's
know?
how I would work if I was a hero. And
Yep.
there is a hero with
It's
Joseph
just not-
Joestar.
snipe. No, like from My Hero Academia.
I know
Do
this
you
joke.
guys-
Remember that scene where Joseph pulls out the mini,
The
like,
Tommy
mini-
gun, that was so
Oh, yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah,
fucking brilliant.
yeah.
That was the moment where I was like, because I was enjoying season 1 with like a wry smile. That was the moment where I was like, oh wait, hang on a moment. This isn't
Yeah.
ironic. This is
That-
actual. I just love this.
I would say
Where
that,
did he get that thing?
Don't ask these questions. He was in America.
Yeah, yep, that's the
That's-
answer. 100%. That's the answer.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
so I'm just doing my best to try to make Black Clover's odds a little
Yeah.
better here.
And what you will say now is that Fullmetal Alchemist wins.
I'm gonna vote for it.
Nani? I am too.
yeah, I got to go for Full Metal for sure.
You know, I think I'm gonna be the bigger man and say Black Clover, even though it doesn't matter because I love the Black
So you're
Clover.
not being the bigger man?
Literally not being the bigger man.
Nope, nope,
Oh.
not at all.
I'll end it and say FMA.
All right, there we go.
Cool.
But Black Clover's power system is seriously underrated, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I really like how it's dependent on the individual and how they use it in unique ways, right?
yeah, it's dependent on individual growth. It's like, I don't know. I think
mean, Black
it's
Clover. Black Clover is like the non-hero academia shonen that came along, and so everyone was going to shit on it regardless of its quality. And like, I'm not a huge fan of it or anything, but that's kind of just what happened for a long time. You'll see that turn around soon, I'd say.
I'd say so too.
Yeah, I mean, are you reading the manga?
No.
I bet. Well, it's way better than the anime. Like way better.
Yeah, that guy can draw manga. He's a talented artist.
Well, it's not just the drawing; it's the pacing also. I mean, are you up to date in the anime?
No.
So where are you up to?
I read a couple of chapters of the manga a while ago, and that's as far as I got.
All
I didn't. I only dropped it because like I had other shit I wanted to read. I wasn't like this is terrible or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And here I am. I read it in a day. So proud of myself.
That's literally insane.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Anyway, it was a busy day. Next, we have, I don't know, Pokemon versus JoJo's. Oh, God.
Gotta catch 'em all.
I mean, I may be biased just
Okay,
because I haven't seen JoJo's, but I'm going for Pokemon here.
Dude,
Hell
Can
yeah.
you catch stands with Pokeballs? That's the question.
No, that's not the question.
No.
It is 100%
I mean,
the question.
Even just putting the
You can
anime
actually
aside,
see-
having just experienced competitive Pokemon for a short period of time, like it's a pretty impressive battle system, even just for like an anime or video game.
I feel
no, it is.
I feel like thinking of competitive Pokemon is pushing me towards JoJo's.
Wow.
You got to
Well,
put a lot of thought.
it's more
into
just
it,
like, you know, every Pokemon only gets 4 moves. You got to select which Pokemon you want. You got to anticipate your opponent. There's a lot that goes into it, and like that
I know,
that, like
I
reflects
love-
in the anime.
I love competitive Pokemon. I have to say, like, really.
That's
One
a lot
thing
of
I
fun.
wanna
I've never
say-
done it.
One thing I want to say about stands, like the thing that really sets it above like and beyond, is like knowing your opponent's stand or not knowing your opponent's stand could be the
Yes!
end all.
Yeah.
Yes, I was gonna get to that point.
And it really is like a game of chess. Like
Whereas by Pokemon, there's so much of competitive Pokemon is predictions. It's all predicting, right? I mean,
It
let's
is.
be honest.
Like,
It's like if
you got
if I have a fighting type and my opponent has whatever, an ice type, I know he's gonna change to flying type. So if I have Thunder Punch, I'm gonna use it, even though right now it's gonna do nothing. But
Okay,
he's
but
still
what if he
switch.
doesn't switch? What if he
Yeah,
doesn't
that's-
switch?
Then he's stupid. He should switch. So
No. That's not even like all of it. You got Pokemon abilities. You got their
Yeah.
EVs, and
Absolutely.
you can't even calculate.
I'm talking basic moves. It's all
He
about
might-
predictions.
Yes, but the thing is, if he throws in a Pokemon that you might think is weak to it, he might have an item on them or something that prevents
You're
them
right.
from
There's a
getting
lot
hurt.
of but
So
again,
then, boom.
that's predicting. There's so much predictions in Pokemon. Whereas
Mhm.
stands, that is gone. There's zero predicting with stands. If you don't know my stand and I know all 4 of yours, I will beat all your asses.
That just seems unfair. Like,
Yeah, but that's the thing. So much of it is figuring out your opponent's power that it becomes such a great
okay,
game.
but like that, you could say the same thing about Pokemon though. Like, for instance, you could be like so knowledgeable about what moves are like popular for a Pokemon, right? Like, okay, I got this Charizard. It's probably gonna have like Fire Blast and blah blah blah. But I could be out here with a hidden power Grass Charizard. You'd have no idea. You
Yeah.
have a water
no,
Pokemon,
no. But the
bam.
thing is,
You
I
and you're
love
like,
hidden
oh,
power.
If
why
you're
didn't I
playing,
predict
if you're
that?
playing competitive Pokemon, you know which hidden powers different Pokemon will have. Every Heatran has hidden power ice, okay?
Okay, but that's why you switch it up. Like, you can do
But
things
it's not as
differently.
good if you switch it up.
But how do
I
you
didn't-
know that? Like, I've played a little bit of Pokemon Showdown just for fun, right? I brought out a hidden power ice Mamoswine, or no, hidden power fire Mamoswine. That thing is an ice type, and I ended up winning with it. Like, you just need to try things differently. Like, not everything is the meta. You can make the meta yourself.
I feel like for the
Make
purpose
the
of this
meta.
conversation, we're getting too much into like Pokemon as a game, and we kind of need to be thinking more about like how they use it in the anime itself.
Yeah,
if that
you're
makes sense.
definitely right.
And like,
I guess that's more
here,
fair, yeah.
okay, look, here, cards on the table. I'm going for JoJo's on this one, but look, here's why. With Pokemon, you have some fucking killer fights. You know, you have Raichu versus Pikachu, you have Ash versus Paul, you have a lot of that kind of stuff. Even like some of the a lot of the early gym battles were really, really hype. But I feel like among those kind of precious few 10 out of 10s, you have so many 5 out of 10 fights as well. Just so many where it's like very just kind of like A plus B equals C. You know, Ash uses a water type on a fire type.
No, he doesn't. He'll use Pikachu against anything.
But like then with
Well,
like,
he has.
with JoJo's, I feel like the amount of just incredible fights that have happened in every single part is like far outstrip. Like the best fights of JoJo's are so much more numerous than the best fights of Pokemon, and Pokemon's been going for so much more. You know.
Hmm.
I agree with that.
I can totally understand that, but at the same time, you also have to put aside how good the fights actually are and just focus on the system itself. And that's what that's at least where my opinion comes
I
from.
think it's kind of the same thing, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
I
know.
could,
I
I
think
could
as
just be
far as the-
biased.
You're right, but there are way less possibilities in a Pokemon battle than in a stand battle. Just by
I
the
think
wait,
it's kind of an argument of like complexity versus simplicity. And like that's a completely neutral statement. I'm not siding with either case, but I think with Pokemon, its beauty is its simplicity, whereas the stand battles, its beauty is its
intricacy.
so complex, it's nearly infinite.
if they battled in Pokemon in, let's say, in the anime, let's say in a similar way to how a competitive Pokemon battle goes, then there's a lot to go into it. That could be really cool. But they choose to keep it kind of somewhat more simplistic.
Well, also they can't. I mean, it's not like Pikachu's gonna be like, Pikachu used Thunderbolt, and while the Thunderbolt's coming, they'll be like, "Oh, return water type guy."
I don't.
That's not what I meant. I was referring to like, why don't they hold items? Why don't they, get in like I don't think.
Stuff like
that kind of stuff. They do. I'm not saying they don't. It's just that it's not usually an essential part of a battle.
The answer to that teching is like to keep it simple for kids.
Yep, exactly.
100%. And to me, that's ultimately what edges JoJo's out.
But what about TMs? You shove like CDs up their asses to give them new powers.
That's what I've been doing.
Yep. Oh no, that's 100% what you've been doing. Yep.
God damn it.
I read a Pokemon, I think it was the Adventures manga, where they actually did show you the method. It's like you plug it into a computer and you actually show it to the Pokemon, and they taught an Eevee how to use Mimic, and it's like, oh, that makes a lot more sense than...
The drawings in those Adventures manga are amazing. They're so good.
Yeah, I haven't read enough of it. But in any case, I think Pokemon aren't real even in the Pokemon world. That's how meta it gets. They're all Digimon.
They're all some kind of digital monster.
Not to change the subject, but why isn't Yu-Gi-Oh on this list? I'm just realizing that.
I'm biting my tongue over Yu Yu Hakusho, Hajime no Ippo, Grappler Baki.
Okay. So like, I had Yu Yu Hakusho on the list, and I took it off for Pokemon. Actually, I took it off because it doesn't really have a defined power system.
I want to give Yu Yu Hakusho a eulogy after we're done this.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right.
And like, I didn't include sports. I didn't include sports anime. I was thinking like, Kuroko no Basket, because they have magic powers, but like, that's
I think that's fair. I think for sure.
So I didn't include Grappler Baki or Kuroko. What was the other one you said? Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh. Is that really a power system?
Dude, Yu-Gi-Oh fights are hype. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of ass pulls. Let's like
power system. The power system is harder. The cards. Come on now.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yugi, I will use my new card that you will never see again.
Yep.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool when Kaiba threatened to kill himself.
If you kill my blue eyes, I will fall off the sledge.
Yeah. But guys, we gotta come to an answer on this.
Yeah. What are we voting?
I'm voting.
I vote JoJo's.
I'm voting JoJo's.
Okay, JoJo takes it.
I am also voting JoJo's. You guys remember that time Pikachu lost to a level 1 Turtwig?
It was a Snivy.
Snivy? Rip.
Yes. Right. That would have gone over so much better if you'd have said it right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all remember. That was the most tragic moment in Pokemon history.
Like, hasn't Pikachu been training? And like, he should win just with like a tackle.
Yeah, really. At this point, you'd think he would, right?
Yeah, well, anyway. Sorry, Pokemon. JoJo's wins, as it should. Next, we have Hunter x Hunter versus Naruto.
This is easy. Easy.
Yeah, I vote for Hunter x Hunter. I mean, we did our
Naruto. There's a point where Naruto's battle system kind of falls apart, and there is a point where Hunter x Hunter's gets better and better and better.
Yep.
Like the recent shit with the Nen beasts, like fuck me. Like I can barely keep up with what's happening in that series, but like when I understand it, I love it.
They keep it relatively basic at the beginning. It's not super basic, but like Uvogin in the Phantom Troop, his Nen ability is just I put a bunch of Nen in my fist and punch things really hard, and then
he got paralyzed from the neck down, and he still murdered those fuckers.
Oh my god! When he bit half his face off and spit it into another guy. Oh my god!
I know, right? But later on, like during the most recent arc, you have all the people on the ship and these really complicated Nen abilities. Like one of them had powers to like trap things in cards. Like it's so cool.
Some of them have magic powers, not even them, but the secret monsters that float around them. And it's
and the greatest. I'll say one more thing, and I'll shut up. But one other thing I love about Nen is that there's after death Nen.
Yes,
there's
the ultimate
I
limitation.
love that. Yes, I love
limitation.
it.
Yeah, but anyway,
let's not spoil
my
favorite.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter for me for sure.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter.
I vote Hunter x Hunter.
All right, so next we have Fullmetal Alchemist versus JoJo's. The utter complexity versus utter simplicity.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, but I think this is where Full Metal might have to stop down. Yeah.
I'm full JoJo's on this one.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah, I
Full
think I'm
Metal
gonna vote
system is
JoJo's too.
awesome, but I also don't think you go to Full Metal Alchemist for that in the same way you go to
No.
JoJo's for like every chapter of JoJo's is a stand battle. Every single one of them.
And they're all amazing.
Yeah, and he's been doing that formula for like 2 decades, and it's never really gotten that tiring. I mean, there's good battles and bad battles, but it's like we want to see all these cool abilities, and he does it in so many weird ways.
Even like 400 chapters in, he still thinks of shit that I'm like, how did you come up with that?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, even in the first episode of Vento Oreo, like Golden Wind, I mean,
yeah.
just that's insane. I mean, whatever.
The life giver.
Life giver.
Life giver.
Oh, yeah. That, and then Bruno comes in, and at the same time, he's completely powerless against a stand with the zipper things. Like
that's just how they match up, and that's cool
how
thing.
it works.
Bruno Bouchelate.
Well, in any case, I vote JoJo's.
Yep, same.
Damn. And as predicted, because the one on the top of the bracket is Hunter x Hunter, and the one on the bottom of the bracket is JoJo's. And now the kings face off.
So Hunter x Hunter's winning, right?
Shut up, man. All the suspense.
I mean, I haven't seen JoJo, so I don't have an argument for it. But just knowing how complex Nen is, and like all the little intricate inner workings, like I don't think anything can beat it.
You thought Too Spooky was gonna vote for Hunter x Hunter, but it was JoJo's.
Yeah, it really does feel like Togashi sat himself down and is like, okay, I'm gonna make like the power system to end all power systems. I'm gonna make like an entire freaking you could literally take a college class on Nen. Like I could teach that class, and I could come up with something to say every day for a whole semester. That's how complicated this shit is. I'm voting Hunter x Hunter. Screw it. I'm just sweeping across.
I feel like it's nearly tricky in a way because I think like Hunter x Hunter, it borrows a lot from JoJo's in terms of its Nen abilities. Like some characters do have straight up stands.
Yeah,
and when
they
you
do.
look at like the evolution of shonen fights, like if you consider Hunter x Hunter the kind of, I hate to say the most recent because Hunter x Hunter is not recent, but I also feel like nothing has ever really surpassed Nen, or well, again, much bigger conversation, but nothing's really surpassed a lot of things about Hunter x Hunter. And to me, it's still kind of the zenith of battle systems. And like, yeah, it does that by taking things, from like JoJo's, taking things from Dragon Ball. But and like, as much as I love the battles from JoJo's, like I really struggle to come up with any kind of argument against Nen. The worst thing I could say about Nen is it's kind of complicated when you start with it.
Yes, very, very complicated.
Hisoka's bungee gum is made up of both rubber and gum. It has the attributes of both.
Whoa. Okay, Nux. I understand it has the attributes of gum, but what was the other thing?
It's rubber.
I still don't understand.
Okay, what was the other thing?
All right, let's start from the beginning.
No, dude, you try to understand Nen when you're reading a really shitty translation of Hunter x Hunter.
Yikes.
That shit, I literally stopped
It's
at Heaven's
disaster.
Arena because I couldn't go on. I couldn't understand. They were just speaking words at that point.
What I love about Hunter x Hunter, it's not just Nen though. It's like he took a step with his left leg while making his heartbeat come down to normal, so no one around him would suspect the word. And every
it's like it really does feel to me like Togashi has OCD, and every time he has a fight, it's like I need to explore every single aspect of this fight. And that's one of the cool things about Hunter x Hunter. It's that it goes on hiatus all the damn time, but it always has a spot at Shonen Jump because it's a really good series. He's a great writer. It's just he just goes away for a lot of times and teases us with stuff. But
even like when there's stuff where like someone is a really powerful Nen user, but they're shit at using it. Do you remember when Cheetah came up with that crossbow that was slower than he could run? And it was like, what? Like,
and Morel beat him.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
That was like telling. Like he's like, I'm pissed off. You broke my ability. I need to come up with another ability right now. Oh wait, that ability made no sense whatsoever. Crap.
Yeah, damn. Hunter x Hunter was pretty sick.
It's still sick. It's still going on.
Yep.
I know.
Yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts.
I thought Go ahead.
I don't know. I have to say that there's another part to Hunter x Hunter's battle system that I love, and that is the fact that different people's personalities fall into different categories.
Well,
And,
that's not necessarily true, though.
Well, it fits for everyone in the series.
Like, it does fit, but it's not like an official thing.
You're right, but well,
That was more
Hisoka
like-
says it. It's
Yeah,
mentioned in the series itself. It's not
Yeah.
like it's a fan theory. Like in the
Yeah,
series,
I think there's enough evidence for it that I accept it as part of this.
I accept it as well. And like Hisoka uses it to predict what type of nen other people use. Like, because since nen is also complicated, like while JoJo's is completely unpredictable, nen is just slightly predictable. Like you had Kurapika saying to Cow Dude in the manga just recently, he's like, "Oh,
Mezo Storm.
yeah, that guy." So how do you remember? So he said,
I like Hunter x Hunter
"Fair enough."
a lot.
Yeah. Well, basically, and he said, well, you could wonder that someone probably has an N ability they're watching exactly what's going on here. Like, they're always cautious of an N ability because an N ability can literally be anything. It just depends on the personality of the user. And Hisoka, he narrows it down. Like, he says, oh, the guy I'm fighting is going to be a enhancer because look how straightforward he is, you know?
That's always not necessarily true at the same time, though. Like, just because you know like what nen type someone is doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're going to use. Like, for instance, Netero, right? He's an enhancer, but the only ability we got to see from him is emission and manipulation. Like, that's what he uses. It's not enhancement at all.
You're right. Was it stated he was an enhancer? I never saw that. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
it was in a data book. It was in a data book.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that honestly sounds more of like a mistake on Togashi's part. Because why is he an enhancer?
Or the people
He summons
who wrote the data book.
He summons a giant Buddha statue.
Yeah, but I
and,
think
like-
he's an enhancer because you don't understand at his prime how crazy powerful he was.
Oh no, he was. He
Well, yeah,
was
I get
crazy
that.
powerful,
I'm just trying to say, like, just because you're something doesn't mean you can't do something else. But
You're
that's
right,
where
but
it then gets
at
better,
the
though.
At the same time, there is an element of predictability to it due to personality, and I think that's amazing. Like the fact that Hisoka, he's like he's a creepy guy. He's always sticky, slimy, sneaking around, and his abilities are bungee gum, which is made up of both rubber and gum, and he also has like this texture surprise to make things look different. Like that fits
that's
his
a cool
personality.
And
to
the fucking,
T.
you're like, how could he ever use the texture to surprise to do something cool? And then he takes off his fucking Phantom Troop tattoo with it. Like,
Dude, it's crazy.
It's so
he
good.
gets someone to read his future so he could change the future written to fool everyone else.
Yep.
Like, how insane was that?
Screw the tattoo. He uses it to reconstruct his face.
Ah,
at one
but there's
point.
spoilers.
That's not a spoil. He uses it to reconstruct his face. That's not. It's fine.
Okay, fine. Okay. I thought you were going to say something else.
We'll stop.
I
We'll stop it
still
there.
can't, like, is it bungee and gum?
I think it's
Rubber.
No. It involves rubber and something else, but we just don't know what that is yet in the
Still
series.
haven't
at this
figured it.
point.
Okay, yeah.
No. People are trying to work on this.
only
now.
I was
Hisoka
kind of coming to this group in the hopes that the five of us would finally be able to put it to rest, but I just can't get my head around it.
if only Hisoka
Well,
could
that's
have
why-
one more fight to tell us.
Dude. We brought you in here just so you could maybe put a nail on this coffin.
No,
but we
I
just
got
haven't figured
nothing.
it out.
I'm a fraud, honestly.
Crap.
Well, with that mystery left unsolved, I vote for Hunter.
Yeah,
Same.
I do as well. HXH.
100%.
Nearly like someone knew this was going to happen, considering that's the background of the entire
Oh
tournament.
my lord.
Look at the description to the stream. It says debating the best power system in anime. Lol, Hunter x Hunter.
If you look at the very first pick, it's Hunter x Hunter. If you look at the very last pick, it's JoJo's. Almost as if we knew they were going to meet in the middle.
Wait, that was Killua? I thought that was Loxus the whole time. Wait.
Yeah, right.
Someone should tweet out, "Congratulations to Magi, the greatest power system in anime."
How dare you?
I actually prefer the fights in JoJo's, but I think the power system is better. in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, it's so good. I need to I need to
which
actually
one?
talk to the college I went to. Is like, hey, can I teach a class? I have a good idea about something.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Nen won. Yay.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I can now die a happy man.
Yeah. Well, this was actually a lot of fun, though. I really
this is
enjoyed
good.
it.
Oh yeah,
This is
I loved
fun.
it. Loved it. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, same here. Anyone have any parting words?
Yu Yu Hakusho is a
Oh, yeah, right,
fantastic
the eulogy.
series. It's such a simple system, but it's beautiful in its simplicity, and it's such a like missing link in shonen series that I don't think a lot of people appreciate. It is like the missing link between JoJo's and everything that came after One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
I
beautiful.
just, absolutely love it. That's all I got to say.
Tagging, why do you do that?
What? What? It's beautiful. I love that series.
No, I love Yu Yu Hakusho. It's one of my favorites.
They're coming out. They're coming
Yeah.
out with the OVAs
Yeah.
soon. I don't know when,
I'm never excited for OVAs.
but
I'm
it's
just
like the
excited
first
to see
time.
it
It's the
again.
first thing we've gotten anything from Yu Yu Hakusho in like 20 years. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, but in all, Yu Yu Hakusho is probably top 10 shonens. Easily.
Yeah, oh, I totally agree. Like, I think Hunter x Hunter is the better show. I like Yu Yu Hakusho more.
Fair enough. I feel you on that.
Hmm.
Well, I like the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho way more than in Hunter x Hunter.
Well, I think Yusuke is so much of a better character than Gon.
Oh, Gon's
And
good.
Hiei
I
was
love
better than
Gon.
Kahlua, and
but
I love
other
Gon
person
and I
better
love
than
Hiei
Leonardo.
and I love
But
Kuwabara
Gon and
is so good.
Kuwabara.
Kuwabara
Gon
is
and
so good.
Yusuke
Kuwabara.
both wear green.
Well, Yusuke's obviously just grown up Gon.
Yeah, right.
Clearly.
Yeah, well, he does kind of look. Yeah, well, Gene does kind of look like a grown-up Yusuke. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you all so much for coming. This was a lot of fun. Hunter x Hunter 1, much to everyone's surprise. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It was very fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah, links to everyone
as
is
well.
in the
Thanks for having me.
description. Yeah, thank you for coming. Would everyone like to make their own individual outro, or should I just end it here without the cringe?
I mean,
Oh, then I'm not gonna talk. Then you could do what you want to do.
No, cringe is great. I love cringe. It's amazing.
I mean,
It's
cringe is
the
only
greatest
great
power
if it's Tekken
system in
101.
all of anime.
All right, then. Have a fantabulous weekend, everybody. Signing out.
All right, there we go. Anyone else? No. All
Well,
right.
as always, Lord Twigo did indeed win the bracket. The Universo.
Yeah, it's a universe.
where was Seven Deadly Sins too? I'm just
Where
realizing
was the
that now.
power system in Seven Deadly Sins?
There was too many.
They literally have
things to
power
choose from.
levels.
Yeah, but there's no power system. Okay.
I mean,
So I was
don't
trying
know.
to
I guess I would
put
consider Magic
DBG,
a power
and
system.
a lot of
but-
things that I feel like were kind of similar. I didn't want to have overlapping.
That makes
we only
sense.
had 16 choices.
You're right. That makes sense.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
like either Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like, I like Pokemon better. Like actually, I like Yu-Gi-Oh the anime better, but I like the power system in Pokemon better. So yeah, no.
yeah, well, anyway, thank you all so much for coming. Have yourself a most wonderful evening. And remember to stay weird, fam.